Gandalf rides quietly up to the front of Bag End and passes through the front gate, which reads, "No admittance, exception, party business." Walks and knocks to the door with his staff. As we can hear Bilbo from inside, "No, thank you! We don't want any more visitors, well-wishers, or distant relations. And what about very old friends?" As the door opens, Gandalf. "Bilbo Baggins, my dear Gandalf! Good to see you. 111 years old. Who would believe it? You haven't aged a day." "Come on, come in. Welcome, welcome." And there we are. Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left. 1296. Very good year. Almost as old as I am. It was laid down by my father. What say we open one, shall we? Just tea, thank you. Gandalf, as he backs into one of the small chandeliers in the hall, tries to turn into the next room and bumps his head on the beam. As he walks and chuckles to himself, Bilbo is running around in the back, talking to himself, trying to see what he can to fix up quickly for Gandalf. "I was expecting you sometime last week. Not that that matters. You come and go as you please. Always have done, always will. You caught me a bit unprepared, I'm afraid. We got some cold chicken and a bit of pickle, and there's some cheese here. No, that won't do shit. We've got raspberry jam, an apple tart. That's not good. Oh, no, we're all right. I've just found some sponge cake." As Bilbo has rattled on, he goes inside the study looking for Gandalf, who doesn't seem to be around. "I could make you some eggs if you'd like." "Oh, Gandalf?" Gandalf appears behind him. "Just tea, thank you." "Oh, right." "You don't mind if I eat, will you?" "Oh, no, not at all." The door begins to bang, and an angry woman's voice is heard. "Bilbo! Bilbo Baggins! I'm not at home. It's the Sackville Bagginses. I know you're in there. They're after the house. They've never forgiven me for living this long. And I've got to get away from these confounded relatives hanging on the bell all day. They never give me a moment's peace. I want to see mountains again. Mountains, Gandalf. And then find somewhere quiet where I can finish my book." "Oh, tea." "So you mean to go through with your plan, then?" Yes, it's all in hand. All the arrangements I've made." "Oh, thank you." "Frodo suspects something." "Of course he does. He's a Baggins, not some block-headed brace-girdle from Hardbottle." "You will tell him, won't you?" "Ah, yes. He's very fond of you." "I know. He'd probably come with me if I asked him. I think in his heart Frodo's still in love with the Shire. The woods, the fields, little rivers. I am old, Gandalf. I know I don't look it, but I'm beginning to feel it in my heart. I feel thin, sort of stretched like butter scraped over too much bread. I need a holiday, a very long holiday, and I don't expect I shall return. In fact, I mean not to. After that short scene, Gandalf and Bilbo sit outside, having a good smoke. And as they smoke and behold the rest of the party tents and the rest of the other activities going on for the party, Bilbo turns to Gandalf. Old Toby, the finest weed in the South Farthing. Bilbo blows a ring of smoke. Gandalf smiles and blows a ship of smoke instead that sails right through the smoke ring. Gandalf, my old friend, this will be a night to remember. Firework explosion, and the party is really underway. Everyone's having a wonderful time. Hobbits dance, eat, drink, and talk to each other. Bilbo greets some of the guests like Fatty Bolger. As the music plays, we have Rosie Cotton dancing in the middle of the group. As she looks around having fun by herself, Sam also tries to glimpse her from behind his back. Frodo jumps in. Go on, Sam. Ask Rosie for a dance. Oh, I think I'll have another ale. Oh, no, you don't. Go on. and Frodo pushes Sam into her arms, and they dance together, albeit awkwardly. Frodo laughs at Sam for not really taking the initiative. Either way, it's a fun atmosphere for all. Gandalf sets off more fireworks, and everyone truly is having the best time, as we would always love to see in that movie. It comes to Bilbo sitting in front of a group of hobbit children, recounting one of his adventures, which some of you may recognize from The Hobbit. So there I was, as Bilbo says, at the mercy of 3 monstrous trolls, and they were all arguing amongst themselves about how they were going to cook us, whether they'd be turned on a spit, or whether they'd sit on us one by one and squash us into jelly. They spent so much time arguing with the Wither-twos and Wyfors that the sun's first light cracked over the top of the trees, and poof, and turned them all to stone. The children are enthralled by the story, and Gandalf continues to pick up more fireworks to set off. And yet, with him not looking, lo and behold, Merry and Pippin enter. They jump on top of the cart to try and get their hands on the biggest they can find. As Merry recounts, "No, the big one, big one!" They take a giant dragon-shaped looking firework and run off into a nearby tent. Bilbo, as he still goes around the giant party, is still congratulating and meeting folk, such as Mrs. Bracegirdle, how nice to see you. Welcome, welcome. Are all these children yours? Oh, good gracious, you have been productive. As the children run by, a voice comes up from behind Bilbo, which he reacts suddenly. Bilbo? Bilbo runs off into the nearest tent, grabbing Frodo as he does, and whispers onto him in a harsh voice, "Sackville Bagginses! Quickly, hide!" They hide. Mr. and Mrs. Sackville Baggins, otherwise known as Otho and Lobelia Sackville Baggins, make their way through the party tents, trying to look for Bilbo, obviously to berate him for living for too long. Bilbo sighs as they go past. Thank you, my boy, thank you. You're a good lad, Frodo. I'm very selfish, you know. Yes, I am very selfish. I don't know why I took you in after your mother and father died, but it wasn't out of charity. I think it was because of all my numerous relations. You were the one Baggins that showed real spirit. Bilbo, have you been in the Gaffer's home brew? No. Well, yes, but that's not the point. The point is, Frodo, you'll be all right. As Bilbo hurriedly takes a sip of his ale to stop him from speaking, Frodo looks confused, and yet the scene transfers over to Merry and Pippin trying to set off the firework. The fuse lights. Done! You're supposed to stick it in the ground. It is on the ground! Outside! It was your idea! Boom! Firework explosion as it ranges fiercely out of the tent, taking the tent with it. Clearly since they were inside, which is not very clever for setting off a firework. Covered in soot, Merry and Pippin look with horror and yet a mixture of interested surprise as the firework flies above the party. And when it explodes, it reveals to morph into a dragon. The dragon, looking very real, makes it as if it's going to make a swoop into the party and try and scoop up people as it makes its way. Frodo grabs Bilbo and goes, "Bilbo, quick, look out for the dragon!" Dragon? Nonsense! There hasn't been a dragon in these parts for 1,000 years! The dragon flies over the party, and yet everyone lying on their bellies looking up and seeing as the dragon has gone by them, explodes in spectacular fashion over the nearby hills, of course revealing to be just another one of Gandalf's fantastic party tricks. Back to Merry and Pippin. That was good. Let's get another one! Yet both their ears are grabbed by a figure behind them, which of course is Gandalf. Meriadoc Brandybuck and Peregrine Took. I might have known. Naturally, Merry and Pippin are punished for their actions, as they have to do all the cleaning for the party. A small amount of silence goes over the group, and yet immediately afterward it's filled with shouts of "Speech!" for dear Bilbo. Speech! Speech! Everyone wants a good old speech from dear Bilbo. So, Bilbo takes to the stage and opens his arms welcomingly. "My dear Bagginses and Boffins, toques and brandybucks, grubs, chubs, hornblowers, bulgers, brace girdles, and proudfoots, proud feet. Today is my 111th birthday. Massive cheers from the group. Alas, every 11 years is far too short a time to live among such excellent and admirable hobbits. I don't know half of you half as well as I should like, and I like less than half of you half as well as you deserve. Naturally, everyone seems quite confused at what he just said. Bilbo starts to mumble to himself, I have things to do. I've put this off for far too long. I regret to announce this is the end. I'm going now. I bid you all a very fond farewell.